everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Master Joyce. Today I have a very special guest with me, my friend Pete Bombaci. Hey Pete.
Hi Masa. Great to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here. Pete is here because he's starting this amazing movement which I think our generation needs right now, and it's called the Genwell Project. So Pete, tell us about it, tell us how you came to develop it, and maybe a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, and thank you for the time. Thank you for your interest in this campaign,
of course, yeah.
This movement. The Genwell Project is a movement of human connection. We live in the most distracted and fast-paced society in history. And the reality is the research is clearer than ever before that the single largest thing that makes us happy in life is spending time with friends. It also reduces anxiety and depression, which we see increasing in society. It also it increases empathy, compassion, and resilience, something that I think we could use much more of in society today. And the research shows that it can potentially make you live longer. The Genwell Project is a global movement of human connection, and we post things on our social feeds every day that's about inspiring, motivating. We talk about the research, we give tips on how to stay connected or build those relationships, and then we activate around 2 weekends a year. Reality is a couple times a year we want to just be the reminder, the catalyst to get you to reach out to your girlfriends, to your former colleagues, to your family, whoever it is, and make the time to get connected, because the research is clear, this is good for you, and we know that we want to be the catalyst to make it happen.
That's awesome. What are the 2 weekends?
The 2 weekends are one in May, it's the first weekend in May, and it's 3 weeks after the Labor Day weekend, and those are done for a reason. Kids come back from university at the end of April, and we've all just come out of hibernation over the winter time, and we get into bad habits, even we all do. You know, whether it's binge watching Netflix series, whether it's spending time on social, or whether it's just hunkering down because the days are colder and darker and all the things that most of us, although we embrace things like skiing and hockey and skating,
you can't do that every day.
You can't do that every day. And so the reality is we want to be the catalyst to get people connected as quickly as possible as we come out of those darker, colder days.
What can we do now? Because today it's sunny out there, but I'm telling you, I get seasonal affective disorder. I'm popping my vitamin D bill if I'm not getting enough sunshine. So what can I do to make those connections right now?
Yeah, I think it's a really great question, and I'm big on being the positive aspect of this. We're not anti-technology, so we don't preach about getting off technology. We want to be part of the solution. We want to tell people, hey, just go find that person or those people to go connect with. So the first one for me is always start, if you're struggling, and whether you're very connected or not very connected, spending more time with people is good for your health. So in the first step, if you have been isolating for whatever reason, is who's that one person that you feel closest to that you haven't seen in a while, that you know the reality is they're the most likely to say yes. The important thing about starting is start easy, start small. It doesn't need to be big. I think a second one for me is about volunteering. Oh, that's a good one. Not only is connecting with people a good thing, and that's certainly part of Maslow's hierarchy and in love and belonging, that we need to have human connection, but self-actualization, if you go back to Maslow's hierarchy, which is really the pinnacle of life, is when, in my opinion, you recognize that helping other people is really when you feel the greatest in life, service. And so, you know, if there's somebody that, if someone's in a situation where you don't feel comfortable in reaching out, well then what a great idea is go find some organization where you can actually commit your time, and you know that when you go there, A, you're going to meet like-minded people who want to make a difference, and secondly, the feeling you're going to get when you help, whether it's a senior, whether it's a young person, whether it's a homeless person, whoever it is, that feeling will take you through weeks and months of feeling amazing about the impact that you've had. And the third one I would say, and this is you see this in book clubs. I play hockey 3 times a week.
Oh, good for you.
You know, is get into regular group activities. When you can actually find a way to put something in your calendar that you passionately love, and you know it's every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, you will book that in your calendar, and you don't let anything get in the way.
Good point.
Because you need to we all need to, we've heard this for years, we need to prioritize our own health, because using the airplane analogy, when the oxygen mask comes out of the ceiling, who do they tell you to put it on first?
You.
You? Yeah.
Myself. exactly.
Exactly. And we're living in this world where we have human highlight reels and we're seeing people every day.
Yeah.
And I say this, it's so unfair to young people today, whether you're a millennial, which I think you would be in that category, or even younger people. When I was a kid, when I left school at 3:20, I had no idea what anybody else did other than the 10 guys that I played ball hockey with or baseball after school every day. That was my competition circle.
Yeah, like 5 people.
5 people. And so today the key is we can't be looking to other people and the pressure that creates in watching what other people do. And it really is, what are the things that are going to make you happy? If going to that group is awesome, then go to that group. If you've got a friend that you love to see, then why don't you put a regular every week or every 2 weeks into the calendar so that you guys get a regular catch up. We need to schedule. When I was a kid, we had closed Sunday shopping. We had no technology. We had one TV. We had smaller fences. We didn't have in-home movie theaters. We didn't have automatic garage doors. Everything that was in existence encouraged people to connect. But today there's more distractions than ever before. We never need to talk to somebody if we don't want to. But the reality is, I think what the message of the Genwell Project is, those connections, that conversation, whether it's with your friends, your family, your neighbors, or even the colleague that sits beside you in your office. You spend a lot of time at the office. Those connections are what make you happier and healthier. And that's what the message of the campaign's about.
I love that. You're with the Genwell Project, you're kind of saying, hey, pay attention. Like, you're stopped hanging out with your friends. You know, you need to get back out there and get more social. And I think that's very important. And I find for our generation, because we're getting so disconnected, and like the meme that you had on your Instagram that I could post a picture of it in here, but basically that made me think like, oh, there's so many friends that I'm like, oh, we need to catch up, we need to grab dinner, and then like a month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months, you know, and it's crazy. And I have a friend who I was trying to meet up with, she had a baby and I haven't seen her yet, you know, like it's just so crazy that this is happening. And I still feel connected to her though, because we chat on Instagram, but it's not the same. Like, I haven't held her baby and hugged her. I'm like,
can I tell you, and I think this is very relevant to that example you just gave, the single largest video that's been viewed on our platform is of a young mother talking about the isolation she felt after giving childbirth.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
And I really want you, after we finish doing this, I want you to reach out and I want you to book. And I think this is the thing that we all need to be really focused on, is the minute you say to somebody, hey, we should get together, I want you to go to your calendar and I want you to send an invite. That's the habit we have to get into. And if you're in middle age, which I'll throw myself into, you know, we're struggling with the fact that it's a longer commute to work. Work days are more pressure filled, they're longer. We got more double working families, so you know, we're not spending time as a family and connecting face to face. All these pressures are leading to us being more isolated and lonely as a society. And hopefully by raising the consciousness of people will make the decision to do the thing that will make them happier and healthier.
That's awesome. And another thing that made me think of is, I wonder if people are afraid to make conversation. So I was on the subway the other day and I was telling a friend about this, and one lady was crocheting and another lady just looked at her. And you know, on the TTC, nobody talks to each other. It's silent in there. So it's actually eerie that it's like so quiet, nobody's talking. Everyone's on their phone or reading. But this lady looks down at the lady who was crocheting and she just said, oh, that's a lost art. And then the two of them just started talking to each other, and the conversation skills they had were amazing. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. Like, I can't sit on a subway and just strike up a conversation. It was like, it's an art form. Which is sad that I think it's like a skill to have. It's an art form, but it's like, I was just like listening to them and she's like, oh, that's on in 1980 I used to do, you know, and then they pulled stories that they had, and I was like, that's so cool. You do not see that. You don't see that with people of my generation unless they're networking or unless they're friends of a friend. You don't just strike up a conversation with a stranger, and I think that was so cool, and that was the lost art form. Yeah,
and we've done 4 Genwell street parties and the response has been amazing.
Yeah.
But now you have this third party introduced, which is, hey, we're getting together because of the Genwell Project, which tells us this is really good for our health, it's good for our community, it's good for everything. So it almost deflects the fear of rejection or acceptance because it's really, I'm doing it because of this thing
Yeah.
instead of I'm doing it for me.
Yeah.
And so for those who might be a little fearful, I think we become a bit of the excuse to
that's
strike up
good.
the conversation.
Yeah.
And if you're really socially connected, one of the messages that we say, if everything's going great in your life and you don't need to do it for you,
Yeah.
then maybe the Genwell Project is a great opportunity for you to think about who in your life you could make a difference. Technology is a great supplement to relationships,
Yeah.
but it
That's a
can't
good one.
replace relationships.
That's a very good point. Technology is a good supplement to relationships, but it can't replace them. Ah,
Yeah.
I like
So,
that.
yeah.
Words of wisdom. I have a hashtag if people see this and actually go out and connect with a friend or someone, a loved one or a stranger. If they record that moment, do you want them to use the hashtag?
Yeah, I guess the hashtag we've been using thus far, we may change it as we come into our next campaign, but it's just Genwell Project.
Okay.
And-
Hashtag. I'll insert everything below with your website and your where are you?
Hi.
With your website and your social links, everything will be in the description
Are we
box.
talking? Is there somebody out there? Are we talking?
You listening? Another thing I wanted to say, because this is all relevant, a lot of the YouTube community, a lot of YouTubers I've been watching, I think are feeling that isolation because they're just sitting here talking to a camera by themselves. And a lot of them have been making videos about having anxiety and feeling disconnected and that sort of thing. So this is another good reminder for people. You do this and it's fun, and some people are doing it as a job, but I wanted to make this video and my first video of 2019 because I want people to make those connections, and I want to talk about more than just lifestyle travel issues. I mean, those are fun and it's good to talk about, but let's get our generation talking again and going out there. So follow Genwell Project. Thank you so much. This is awesome. I wish you all the best. I think it's going to be awesome.
Thanks, Betsy.
Yeah, people need it. Everybody needs this.
Thanks, everybody, and really take the time to get connected, because it is the single largest indicator of happiness and health in your life.
Yeah.
And all we want to do is give you that excuse to get connected. So thanks, Massa. I really appreciate your interest in it,
Yes.
taking the time to do this,
important.
and helping us
We
share the
need it.
message, because that's what's important.
Yeah, we need it. The world needs it right now. So go get connected. Bye.